And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely Brutal OST as we've returned. We've returned here with the grand finals of the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, week number 88. We are back. We have returned, and we have our top two players here. The upper semifinals did take place over on Chicken Man's channel and Chicken Man's stream. We didn't quite cover it ourselves, and there is no ace match. Instead, it was a 2-0 in favor of our Terran player, which means we have avoided the PvP finals. Thank God. We made it back. We made it. No mirror matchup. No mirror matchup in the finals. And here we go. We're jumping into the grand finals itself. A best of 5. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss. Representing Protoss Pro, it is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we delve into our best of 5 PvT matchup. Let's go. Let us go again. Kira, he has some of the best PvP in the world. I would say he's top 3, if arguably top 2. Arguably top 2 when it comes to top Terran players in the TVP matchup. He's up there alongside Clem and alongside Maru, and you can make an argument that he can even be greater than them at times as well. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm here for it. For now, double gas opener out of Cure, going for a faster factory, going for a delayed CC, a much more tech-heavy start, and we'll see where this leads us. Welcome to Winter Madness. Now, we just, of course, experienced Winter Madness in the Classic versus Beyond series, and we tried to emphasize that on these larger maps, Protoss players are favored, so the pressure is very much so on the Terran to get damage done early. If not just all in. So the pressure is on Cura, and we'll see how he does open up. But from here, we can go into early Cyclone, early Banshee, early Raven, early Reaper Hellion. And what's it going to be? For now, we have our initial Reaper on the way. Classic, he pokes in, he scouts the factory, he knows. He saw the factory timing, he now knows it was a double gas opener. Technically, this can lead into a one-base all-in, except one-base all-ins are very rare. They're very player dependent. Like if we were casting Ryung, for example, or Gumiho, then I would give a little bit more credence towards a one-base all-in. But not from Cure. If we're casting Maru, then for sure. Like Maru, Ryung, Gumiho. There are more chaotic, more aggressive players out there. Cure is not one of them. Not saying that he'll never all in, not true. He will cheese, he will proxy, but one base all ins, they're for a certain kind of player. Yeah. From here, we do have our Widowmine follow-up into Widowmine drop play. We'll see how many mines he does commit into. Bearing in mind, because it's a faster factory build, we can build up into 3 Widow mines, so a bit of a more committed mine drop play. If he continues mine production. No, never mind. Singular Widow mine into add-on. Okay. Interesting. Now, because it was Widow mine first into add-on, this is lined up for an add-on swap. We can open up early Banshee. Do we go Cyclone or do we go for the add-on swap? What's it going to be? We're going for the... Oh, we're going for the way... Tech Lab into second Widow Mine. Okay. So still going for the mine drop. I would imagine we're going to be going for the add-on swap after the medevac is built. I would imagine. As we have it built up into only 2 Widow mines. Okay. Only 2 mines, so we're going for the double mine drop. There's the add-on swap as well. Into said Raven play, not Banshee. And we'll see if Classic can keep up. So far, Classic is fully walled off. Remember, he is aware of the faster factory, so he thought it was going to be Reaper Hellion. That's why we have a full wall. So we have a full wall off here, Robo on 2 bases, a 3rd gateway as well. Very, very safe play at a Classic. So he's playing very safe. That leads into the mine drop into the main. Drop moves in. And Classic, he does react. It does pull away. It pulls away in time. It is losing mining time, of course. Ooh, mine shot going off. Catching out 3 probes. 3 probes go down. The Widow mines, they do get away as well. Not bad here by Cure. Okay, not bad. Reaper scouts a natural. 3rd base has been thrown down. Again, we are massing up. Job does go back in. Medevac finally goes down, but he's still, the trades are solid. Oh. Get 3 probes. 3 probe kills, 9 mining time. Cure does get away. Behind this, he's ready for the counterattack, even going for a double bunker here on the low ground. Ah, we see why. He's skipping tanks. No tank production. Going straight for stim, straight for combat shields. And prioritizing marauder production instead. A very heavy bio setup. This leads into a really strong stim timing. A very, very strong stim timing with extra bio. This can hit quite hard. Got a double drop into the main. Double auto turret, I should say. Thanks to mining. Raven is going to be hunted down. Nice pickup. Snipe the Raven. Double drop here on the right hand side. Remember, we spoke about this, but it's a more marauder heavy composition with stim and combat shields. I believe the observer should have seen the drop. Does now get sniped. Cure, he does. Yeah, he does unload. So Curie's paranoid, and for good reason. You can see the classics in position. He's ready for the drop here at the natural. The observer did spots. And Cure instead, he does reposition, he does rotate towards the left-hand side. So nice rotation here by Cure. Very nice. Headed towards the would-be 4th base. Does he head for the 4th or the 3rd? Pushing between the bases, Colossus in position. Army gets spotted. And Cure, he cannot break through. Just trading with the army. Doesn't quite get on top of the 4th. Does try to move in that direction. Oh. Sims in. Colossus exposed. Oh, the Colossus goes down. Massive pickup. Again, Classic did overextend. Miscontrol out of Classic. Massive pickup. Now he sims in. There's one more Colossus. Has to be respected. Cure does pull away. He kites back. There's an opening. Yeah, there's an opening. He goes in and takes on the second Colossus. Oh, and things are getting out of hand. Yeah, they're getting out of hand, getting out of control. And Cure, he has done. He has broken Classic. Again, for that first fight, he did overextend with the Colossus. Did have a big misstep. And Cure's overwhelming. Yeah, Cure, he's overwhelming the army. The Colossus, they're the backbone of the army here for Classic. Yeah, the backbone. Cure does with the 4th base. Coming in for a flank. There's soon to be one more Colossus. We can see the Cure is still rallying. Now with the Vikings. Yeah, Vikings have arrived. Classic trying to engage. Does miss the army. Uh-oh. Classic's out of position. Colossus in between the bases. No battery. Cure sims in. Force back. That's a lot of zealots. Okay. Yeah, Classic is stabilizing. He's stabilizing. He's got plenty of zealots. Nice mine shot on the sentry. But Curie has to get away. Yeah, he has to get away. He has to back up. Now, on the one hand, Curie traded very nicely with the main army, but the economy. The economy is still up and running. The 4th base is untouched. And Classic can now afford all these zealots. That's a very heavy zealot composition. It's a lot of charge lots. Ooh, even a double. Oh my god. In the middle of this fight here, saturates his 4th base and claims a 5th expansion as well. Oof. And now I'm worried for Cure. Cure was quite dedicated. This is a very late 4th. The 4th CC is now on the way. He's got his 3rd up and running. That is true. Sorry, I say late 4th base. It's at a decent timing here. I'm just concerned about the lack of economic damage. Sure, he reset the Colossus count, but Classic is gaining map control. Classic can remax and rebuild. Okay, let's go. Again, Cure, I feel like we still need to be active. He's now getting a 2nd starport into massive Viking production. Classic taking another expansion. Oof. This is getting quite impressive. Now remember, Classic is expanding, but the army still isn't there yet. It's mainly Zealot heavy, but the Colossus count was reset. We saw him in versus Beyond where he was able to hit that 5 Colossus timing. That's not happening here. True. So here's working on his 4th. It's almost done. Cure, he might be the first to max out. He's still working on the academy though. It's a bit of a later academy. It's going to come down to the engagement. It'll come down to the engage. We're building up to 10 Vikings. So 10 Vikings, a couple of Ghosts, a couple of EMPs. They're soon to be available. Here's amassing. He's building up his army. Likewise, Classic is max. He's maxed out with 4 Colossus. Scan reveals the Temple Archives. The Double Forge. No Sky Toss, not yet. Classic wants to move in. And wants to dive in. Oh, catching out a portion of the army. Oh no! Yeah, getting 1, 2, 3, 4 Marauders. Massive pickups. That's 5 Marauders going down. As Yami's forced back. Colossus moving in. Vikings, they try to zone. It says Stalkers, they do move forward. And that's going to be most of the Vikings going down. You're going to be losing every single Viking here. Does get 1 Colossus. There's still 3 left over. Running out of Zealots, okay. Running out of Charge Lots. Classic has to pull away. Where there's Warpins. Classic has 2,000 minerals. There we go. Oh, and I was going to say that was a decent fight for Cure, but he lost 19 SCVs. He had to pull the boys. Ay, ay, ay. Classic may have just done it. He may have just done it here. Does cripple the economy. Classic is almost remaxed. What's important as well is that Classic, he held onto his Colossus count. And how many Vikings left over? 3. Yeah, there's barely any Vikings left. Cure, he needs more time. Classic is coming. Cure has 4 Vikings, soon to be up to 8, soon. That's 5 Colossus. And Classic is pushing forward. Nice EMP. Very nice EMP. Covering a good chunk of the army. Vikings looking for a way in as well. Does make in. Does focus on the Vikings. Take a sniping 3. Yeah, 3 Vikings go down. There's 4 left. Getting up to 5. Yeah, Zealots are rallying in. That's a massive wave of charge lots. Once again, collapsing in the army. Vikings try to push forward. Archons move in. Yeah, massive shots going off. The Viking count is going to be reset once again. No more gateway army though. True. Where's the support? There's nothing there. Yeah, very nice concave. Nothing on the ground. Zealots are just too late. Yeah, they're a little bit too late here. Or are they? We're getting messy. We're getting scrappy. Oh my god. Kai's back behind the mineral line. Colossus forced to recall. Oh, Colossus barely is saved. And Cure holds. Cure, he does hold on. Whew. Again, those Zealot Warpins were just late. They were delayed. They were just a little bit too late there for Classic. But he still cripples the economy. That's the thing. Classic doesn't kill. Classic loses a massive chunk of his army. But he has 94 probes. Classic can remax. Cure cannot. Cure is down to 45 workers. Again, barely an economy. Cure, he's on a 2-base economy. Mules do help. True. Mules are helping. Speaking of, there they are. But Cure's on the back foot. Every time we fight, he loses the mineral line. He cannot afford those losses. And you can see just how oppressive this is, because Classic, he's almost already remaxed. Already back up to 180 supply. He's just not giving he's not giving Cure that time to breathe. And he shouldn't be. Cure, when it comes to his army, what's he back up to? 8 Vikings, so a decent Viking count. Decent. He's very heavy on the Ghost, very light on Marine Marauder. Yep, and Classic is remaxed. Pushing it once again. 19 Ps. Once again, does try to focus on those Vikings. We are lacking Zealots here, as it's going to be 2 more Vikings going down. Down to 3 Vikings. Here come the Zealot reinforcements. And again, you can see Cure like barely hanging on for each fight. But at no point are Classic bases ever under threat. Like, these bases are very safe for Classic. Incredibly safe. EMPs are connecting, boys are being pulled into the charge lots. Or into the Colossus. This time doesn't take the fight. Cure going for the Logan expansion. Bold move out of Cure. That's the main. The main base does float over. Oh, Colossus are exposed. Gets 1. 1 Colossus goes down. And he's gonna get 2. Yeah, 2 Colossus fall. But the Zealots are trading against Ghosts. Oh, God. Yeah, Vikings are putting in a lot of work here, getting a 3rd Colossus. Do they get all 4, actually? Hey, let's go. Does snipe all 4. There's a Warpins. How many gateways are we on? 18. That's decent. I feel like with this kind of economy, getting up to like 20 plus gateways, like, you can justify that due to how we're trading. But regardless, spaces are being denied. Classic once again remaxing. And again, this was an impressive defense here by Cure, but it's just getting worse and worse every time. And again, Cure, he had a really strong early to mid game where he almost ended the game, by the way. He almost straight up ended the game early on. I'm referring to the moments where Classic miscontrolled and lost 2 Colossus. Like that, the game almost ended then and there, but again, Cure barely didn't have enough momentum, didn't have enough left over. Classic immediately thereafter gained map control. Kills the expansion. And again, Cure has been taking better fights. It's been impressive. He's been fighting and achieving more with less. But it's all about the economy. Zealots are rallying in, Ghosts are going down, GG gets called, and Classic takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Classic does take a lead in the series. Again, Cure had a really impressive early to mid game, but was unable to close it out. And do you remember what we said at the very beginning of this game? Specifically on larger maps like Winter Madness, again, this does favor Protoss players as it is easier to gain map control. Easier to gain map control, to take over the map, of course, to push back your opponent, to contain your opponent on a low base count. And that's what we saw. Is what we saw here. We did need to see the game end earlier, much earlier for Cure, and he failed to do so. Did fail to win the game. And with that, we're going to be getting into game number 2. Número 2. Vámonos, baby, vámonos. Gonna be on Ruby Rock. Okay, so now as we load into a smaller map, this is where now the Terran is more favored. We spoke about this earlier, but these larger maps make it easier for Protoss players to gain map control and to mass expand. These smaller maps do favor all-ins. So we could see Cure going to a 2-base all-in or 3-base all-in, but these early all-ins and hyper aggression are now more favored on maps like Ruby Rock, maps like 10,000 feet, and maps like Tourmaline. So depending on how the veto process went, we'll see kind of how the series does evolve over time. For now, though, we are going to be loading in. So we're getting ready here for game number 2. Gracias, papi, gracias. Appreciate it, papi, appreciate it. Can you share resources lost? I mean, I'm sure Kira was being hyper efficient considering all things considered. Like he was for sure being very, very efficient with what he had. It was impressive that that Kira survived for as long as he did. Very impressive. But here we go. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. Let's go. Welcome on all to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a map that does favor more aggression. It is a smaller map, a shorter rush distance by ground, much more accessible third base, much more accessible fourth base, and much more accessible area in between the bases as well. That is why we often do see a lot of all-ins on Ruby Rock, and we should be seeing both players adjust. Bear that in mind. I did come into this saying that like, oh, okay, Terran are more favored on maps like Ruby Rock. That is true when it comes to aggressive styles and aggressive tendencies, but that aggression also applies to Protoss. We can now see Classic shift gears as well and be more active and aggressive in the early game. Here we go. As from here, we are going for a double gas opener, so double gas out of Cure. Last game, this led into earlier mind draw play, into earlier stim, if you remember. In game one, Cure intentionally didn't go for any kind of tank production. He went for earlier Marauder play instead. Marauder, stim, combat shields into that very heavy bio push. Here, we'll see where he takes us. Show us what you got. When I think of aggression from the side of Protoss, we could see a charge-based opener instead of Blink. That would be a way to almost hard counter all-ins. We could see 4-gate Blink Stalker instead of 3-gate Blink Stalker. True. Could see 4-gate. We could try to be hyper-defensive and go for a Robo opener into earlier Bay, into earlier Colossus. We could go Proxy Stargate into Proxy Oracle, into Harassment into the bases. Like, we still have options here. The first couple of games we've had from Classic have been very, very straightforward. Very standard. But we'll see. Ooh, getting a probe, not bad. Worker is going to be sniped. Cure does pull away. We have a Twilight Council follow-up here from Classic, so no Robo. So Twilight Council opener, eyes are going to be here on the gateway count. How many gateways? Show us what you got. Keep an eye on the gateways. As Cure, he is going to be going for the dive. Does go for the mineral line, gets one, gets two. Get 2 probes going down, not bad. Behind this, he does reinforce, so it was double Hellion, triple Reaper. Getting up to 3 probe kills so far. Not a bad trade. Not a bad trade, as that was only for a single Hellion. So nice pickups here by Cure. As he does pull away. Behind this, it was Reactor Reaper Hellion into Woodermine production. So into Woodermine drop. Cure, he wants more economic damage. And we'll see where he takes us. Cure's poking in. Oh. Poking in, pulling away. Nigel towards the main. Again, Classic, he should be able to react in time, shouldn't take too many losses to this whatsoever. Yeah, he's got a couple of Stalkers warping in. And he does react. So again, just delaying some mining time. Picking up some probes. Oh, no! Jesus, he comes back too soon. Cuidado, papi, cuidado. Classic. Be careful. So far, he does defend well. Almost blundered towards the end, but we're all good. And back at home, Kira is building up into his own 3-1-1 setup. Now, unlike the previous game, this time he does have tank production. So we have the tech lab on the factory building up into tanks. Last game, if you remember, oh no, never mind. Just like last game, he's only using it for add-ons. Only add-ons. There's a swap into early stim and combat shields. Just like last time, he's going to be skipping tanks and going into heavier marauders. Okay. Now, you saw that last game, he almost killed. He almost killed with this build, with this push, when he moved out across the map and he killed 2 Colossus. So here, we're going for the same timing. We're going to be building up into stim and combat shields and pushing across the map with a heavy Marine Marauder composition. So One Man does kill 1 more probe. 1 more worker goes down. Observer gets caught. We are getting ready for that push. Still building up. Now, by the time Kira gets across the map, there should be a Colossus. There should be at least 1. So the bay is on the way for Colossus production. Third base is getting saturated. Classic, looking at his vision, he has yet to confirm the main, so he doesn't really know what's going on. Kira, he does veer off with his double drop. You can see the Raven is with the drop as well, looking for any kind of observers, ensuring that he's not scouted. So nice moves out of Kira. Reaper Hellion on the left hand side. And Kira can even reinforce with that earlier medevac as well. But again, this is just drop play, just harass. He's not going for the main push. Drops into the main. Army's in position. Only 1 Stalker. Does drop, does unload. Using the SimCity against the mass charge loads. Okay. Is going to trade well here. Yeah, there's a sim. Picks up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Zealots. Now focusing on Stalkers as well. At the same time, Reaper Hellion is in the middle line and probes are going to be going down. Oof. Yeah, classic. He is exposed. Workers line up. Getting up to 6 probes. Not 7 probes even. But the drop is cleaned up. Was this worth it? That's going to be 11. Okay, 11, 12, 13, 12. 12 probe kills. Very nice economic damage. But at the same time, was quite costly. That was what, 2 full medevacs, a good amount of Marines and Marauders which did go down. Now Classic has gained map control. It's going to be secure to defend. It's on Kira to defend. Now Classic's economy is weakened. This does mean that Kira's eventual move outs can be that much stronger. It's on Classic to delay the push for as long as possible while he expands. Like, Classic knows he's behind. He is behind. Classic has to delay. But remember, we're on Ruby Rock. How do we begin this game? We spoke about how the rush distance by ground is shorter on this map. So it is more punishing. He wants a Colossus. Ooh, doesn't break through. Very nice force fields. Yeah, force fields, they split up the army. Oh, but another Marauders! He gets caught out by the force field. That's what, 4 or 5 Marauders going down for free. Ay, ay, ay. Brutal force fields. At the same time, 9 probes go down. Jesus, okay. Now workers, they go down across the map. Was that to auto turrets? No. Not quite. So we have a bit of a back and forth. At the same time, Prism gets into the main base, goes to the warp in. Again, the pressure is still on Classic, and he's finding damage. Getting 3 SCVs, Widow Mine, denies mining. Main army moves in. Still contains his opponent on 2 bases. Still does contain. And Classic is catching up. He's slowly catching back up. Prism just got sniped by the Vikings. Zell's back in, killing more SCVs. Oof. We're still popping up, by the way. He's still popping up. We're committed. Oh no. 11 SCV kills. Do we get 12? 12. Jesus. That one hero zealot popping up in the main. At the same time, Classic has to get the hell out of here. He does race back home with the Colossus. Here comes the main push. Kira's built up into this moment, but he has been delayed. He has been delayed. Back at home, we have extra zealot warp-ins. No batteries at the bases, which is a little bit concerning. Here comes Kira. Does he pull the boys? Yeah, he pulls the boys. This makes sense because he's... I mean, there's no macroing out of this. He lost too much. He lost too much. He's been too delayed. Kira's all in. He's completely all in. And either he kills Classic or he dies trying. He commits. Oh, Stalkers, they blink forward. They do focus on the Vikings. They get one, they get both Vikings. Yeah, Vikings going down. Colossus, they just rain down on the SCVs. Boys are being pulled. Yeah, the probes are here. The Colossus are a little bit too close. He kites away. Yeah, he does kite away. Barely in time. Marauders go down. There's still a couple of Vikings remaining, and GG gets called. GG gets called. Cure, he runs out of steam, and Classic, he'll take a 2-0 lead in the series. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Classic, he does take a 2-0 lead here. Again, Cure, he had a good start, similar to last game actually. He had a very, very good start where Cure, he was able to cripple the economy, able to force Classic to be desperate, but Classic, he did so much across the map, of course. Classic dropping into the main base, pushing towards the third, force fielding those Marauders. These were a couple of key moments that built up over time. Crippling the economy, catching up the Marauders, catching up the army, and more importantly, delaying the third and delaying the push as well. So Cure, he had a really strong start and he was building up to a big 3-base push, but everything was delayed from there. Losing workers, being denied the third base, losing his army as well. That's why he was forced into the all-in, and that's why his eventual all-in was weaker. It was late and it was weaker than what it should have been. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into game number 3, going to be loading into Taito Citadel. And again, the biggest concern, at least for me here, is that was supposed to be Cure's map. That was meant to be Cure's map. That was like, everything was lined up for him, and especially when it came to the damage he was dealing. Like, it was all lined up for Cure, but alas, he fails to do damage. He fails to break out across the map, fails to kill, and now things are looking dire for the Terran. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Taito Citadel, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. Here we go. We're getting into game 3 here, and again, game 2 doesn't bode well, right? Like, game 2, as I mentioned, that was meant to be Cure's game. That was meant to be his game to take. That was meant to be his comeback in the series, to have it back and forth. And with that game going poorly, things are looking more dire here for our Terran player. Things are looking more like potentially even a dominant showing here by Classic. The pressure's on. The pressure is now very much so on Cure. We got a lot of catching up to do here. This time opening up economically. Okay. He has to fight for that low ground. But for the first time this series we do have an economic opener. Remember, last game, for the past 2 games, it's been double gas into Widowmine play, into that earlier Stim Marauder timing. For the first time this series, economic start. Classic is here to delay the economy, trying to force the off-center CC. Second SCV comes down. And finally, Cure can expand. But there we go. So a little bit delayed here. Nice and annoying set of Classic. There we go. Here we're building up on our 2 bases, and from here we'll see if Classic does cut some corners or if he does play safe. Considering the game states and considering the series, we should be seeing 3-gate blink, but eyes are on Classic. Yeah, it's Cure, he does threaten a dive. Threaten that dive. From here we have our 1-1-1 follow-up. There's no Reactor Reaper Hellion this time. Much more standard opener. Into reacted Marine. To reacted Bio. Likewise, Blink is going to be on the way. Again, standard opener, 3-gate Blink. Just very safe play here by Classic. Again, considering the series makes sense, like there's no need to take a risk and to take a chance and to be hyper greedy. Again, it's Cure that's adjusting and adapting, at least trying to. As we have a much more economic opener into the Mind Drop. Again, the Mind Drop isn't supposed to get damage done. It's all about scouting more than anything and denying some mining time at least. Does move out. Third base not being taken. Oh. Classic does deflect. Here we're just getting into the mid game. We have the third base on the way, charge, forge, +1, a Classic getting into his gateway heavy composition. This eventually leads into Colossus. Yep, there it is. Colossus on the way. This is the style that Classic has been playing every game of the series. Every game of the series, just 3-gate Blink into +1, charge into later Colossus. It is just the go-to. Meanwhile, we saw that Cure this time is forced to make his defensive tanks. Just the one? Yeah, just the one tank. And there's a much higher chance here that Cure just builds up into the third and is more kind of defensive. The problem here is that he has to be aggressive. So, welcome to Title Citadel. We didn't really get a chance to talk about the map itself. So far, 5 probes, not bad. 5 probes do go down. Does disrupt some of the mining, but the most crucial thing about this map is the gold expansion. We have the gold base here bottom left, and if you know anything about TVP, as we do come in with the auto turrets, and 7 probes go down in total, okay, it's adding up. Another auto turret into the main, 8, 9 probe kills, 10! 9 probes, very nice damage. Medevac gets shut down, but this was all worth it. This was worth it for Cure, and Cure is pushing. As I was about to say, that if you allow the Protoss player to gain map control on Title, they take the gold and they have an even greater boosted economy than what you used to. So you cannot let the Protoss player gain the map control and get into the mid game. They'll have such a massive advantage. Secure is pushing. Much earlier committed move out here than last game. He's got his tanks, he has stim, combat shields +1. The marauder count is lower here, but alas, there's still a lot of marines, a lot of buffer. One marauder is not going to go down. Nice save. The control picks up the marauder. Colossus is out. Army rotates to the right hand side, gets spotted by the observer. Classic is keeping up. He wants that tank. He blinked in. Tank goes down. Yeah, tank does go down. Stalkers get punished, losing 1, 2 stalkers. But Classic has the high ground. Yeah, he takes over the high ground. Oof. He takes control of the ramp. The aggression is subsiding. And Classic is just giving chase. Yeah, it does zone away, does give chase. Cure, he's forced back home. The harassment continues. Now, what I will say is that, thankfully, when it comes to this move out here from Cure, he at least did delay the 4th, right? The 4th base was delayed because Classic was terrified of the army and had to defend, of course. So later 4th expansion. And at least Cure maintains the majority of his army. May have lost a tank, but he does retain his marines and marauders, and his medevacs. So Cure still has a competitive force. Still competitive. Classic coming in from behind. Header for the natural. That's it for the natural. Oh, Prism barely gets in. As Elsa busts into the natural. Prism into the main. Warbin will complete. Oh, this is brutal. Yeah, this is brutal. The main army cannot be activated. Classic actually pulls away with the army. The Zelsa didn't really get too much done here. 6 SCVs. They're getting a little bit more. Yeah, they're achieving a little bit more, but it looks like Classic was terrified of a counterattack. There was potential to move in. There's the recall by Comb. Again, he wasn't sure when the main army was. Classic, he does leave there. He does leave the Colossus idle. Thankfully, pulls away. Classic is building up on soon to be 5 bases. That was some nice harass. And Classic is messing up the second robo. Second robo, Temple Archives, that's going to be for 5 Colossus and eventually the Archon support. Again, it's just the same style every game so far by Classic. He's almost reaching his final form, almost. Now, what I will say is that specifically on this map, unlike on Winter Madness, you can't really expand towards your opponent. So you don't really have as much of an aggressive stance to push into the bases. This will give Kira a little bit more leeway. Classic pulls away. There's that gold. We spoke about it. Hey, if you give up map control, then that gold base will kick in. That is a concern. Now, what I will say is that Cure, he should be able to mass up a solid army. I mean, he is. He's getting up to 14 Vikings. Jesus, 14 Vikings. Once the ghosts come online, then Cure can push. Until then, he's still... Classic, what are we doing? We're just expanding in his face. Classic, calm down. Classic. But the only more egregious thing than this expansion would be this space. This space on the low ground. Just throw down an Nexus, throw down some shield batteries. No. Classic, you're an animal, papi. Classic. Kira taking his 4th. This is going to be the low ground expansion. It's much more exposed, much more open. And this is where Classic should be looking for fights. Again, the 3 base setup is on the high ground. It can be quite difficult to push in, but the 4th base, that's a different story. Classic, he rotates, checking for expansions. Kira's keeping up with the rotations. EMPs are coming in. Ghost, losing 1 ghost for free. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there from Cure. Does lose a ghost. There's 2 ghosts left. Dust him in. Vikings are going to town. Remember, there's 14 Vikings. He gets 1. Yeah, he gets 1. He gets 2 Colossus. There's 3 Colossus left. Hallucination does tank. Yeah, Hallucination tanks. Colossus are exposed, and all 5 Colossus are going to go down. Yeah, losing all 5. But the Gateway Army, though. The Gateway Army. He does somewhat break into the mineral line. Stalker's gonna be forced back. Yeah, Cure holds. Yeah, Cure, he is holding. Classic has to pull away. And what's scary here, that was 12 SCVs. That was 12 SCVs going down, and more importantly, the 4th base. The 4th base was denied. No 4th expansion. Classic, he rotates, takes more bases. The gold is fully operational. And Classic should just remax, rebuild, and should never allow the 4th to get up. Should just never allow it. That's a lot of zealots. Oh, we're just diving in. We're just diving in. No fear. The ghosts are exposed. He gets 1, 2, 3, 4 ghosts go down. GG gets called, and Classic, he will claim the series 3-0, advancing on becoming this week's KSL champion. GG. GG, well played, congratulations. Classic does claim the series. Again, this map is even more brutal than most maps because of the gold expansion. If you relinquish map control, if the Classic player, if the Protoss player gains map control and title, bam, they get the gold. Bam, they have an even stronger economy than usual, and they can be even more oppressive with mass zealots. Like that's the difficult thing about Title Citadel, is that these longer games do favor Protoss, specifically in PvT. If they do gain map control, of course, and Classic did gain that map control. Big reason for that, if you remember, is that Cure, he pushed out initially on 3 bases with his tank move out, and he got shut down. He got shut down early. He lost map control early on as well. As a result of that, we saw the War Prism Harass didn't really do much damage, but it did keep Cure busy while Classic was mass expanding, taking the fringe bases, taking the goal bases as well, and just bullying Cure back. GG, well played. With that Classic, he will be our champion. Congratulations. And I just realized I'm not even showing the scores. Wait, what? Where are the... How long has that been happening? The score just below me, it's missing. There we go. Yeah. But GG, well played. I do apologize. I don't know for how long that there was a bug going on where the scores weren't showing. But GG, well played. Classic, he does claim the series 3-0 over Cure to become our champion. Strong showing here out of Classic. Strong showing. Again, playing the same style every game, to be honest, with slight variations here and there. Don't get me wrong, but for the most part, a very solid style here from Classic. Again, as I mentioned before, game 2 was meant to be Cure's game. Like game 2, Cure, he had a really strong start. Like that was meant to be his game. That was meant to be his follow-up. Even game 1, we saw that Cure had a really strong start as well, where he almost straight up killed Classic. It was game 3 that was more one-sided. Like this third game was the more one-sided game, but makes sense. It's Title Citadel. Like that's what we expect. It's But if you missed it, I do recommend checking out the first and second game. The first and second game were a lot closer. Quite dominating play. I would only say that about game 3. Like game 3 was more one-sided. Game 1 and 2 were a lot closer and a lot more back and forth, to the point where again Cure was ahead. Like in multiple times in those first 2 games, it was Classic recovering and bouncing back from that position, which was impressive. Don't get me wrong, it was very, very impressive. GG, especially game 2. But with that, GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Classic. And we are going to be wrapping up for the time being. If you want to support this tournament, you can do so via Patreon, !KSL. KSL in the chat. There is a Patreon for the KSL, so you can support the Korean StarCraft League. You can help fund them, help support them, and help them grow and support the Korean scene. Can do so. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. We did just wrap up with our morning broadcast. Let's catch up on our schedule. Let's catch up on the rest of our week. As you can see here, we just wrapped up with the Saturday morning broadcast of KSL. This evening, we're going to be live with the Masters 1 Open. That is our monthly Bronze to Masters tournament. It's for amateur players. So, hey, if you're out there, if you're below 4.7k MMR, then you can compete in MSO. Bearing in mind, we do not allow off-racing. We don't allow off-racing, and we do require a minimum amount of games played. So there is a minimum of games played. So we actually have a better idea as to what your MMR is. Just as a heads up. We are quite strict when it comes to our amateur tournaments, but again, that is going to be later on this evening. We also have Tuna Cup tomorrow evening, and we have currently the Team Liquid Map Contest finalist broadcast on Sunday. Now, bearing in mind that that broadcast depends on when we do get the judge score sheets. They should be publicly available soon, but Wax might wait until the Wardy tournament ends, which would be a shame. It'd be a shame if he waits until then, but we'll see. If we don't get those like score sheets tomorrow, then we'll be pushing that back to Monday, and then push it back to next week sometime for whenever we do get them. That'll be us breaking down the top 16 maps in the Team Liquid Map Contest, breaking down our feedback, the other judges' feedback, the final score lines, the tallies, comparing it with some of the other maps, and then having a greater breakdown as to what the maps entail, what is good about them, what is bad about them. We'll be getting into it whenever we have that broadcast. Currently scheduled for Sunday, but we'll see when we get it. We shall see. Otherwise, it's going to be a very intense week of StarCraft. Next week is going to be all the qualifiers, GSL qualifiers and RSL qualifiers. We are going to be casting the RSL qualifiers live. For the GSL qualifiers, we're on the fence. If you know anything about GSL, you know that whenever we cast GSL, it's over on Soup. It's over on the Soup platform. We cannot cast it live on Twitch, so it's one of those things where we could cast the GSL qualifiers live, but we don't really get a lot of viewership doing that, and it might be more beneficial if we just do a replay cast where we have all the matches and we just can go through all the games. Whereas if we live cast, we're limited to whatever we're able to jump into live at the time and follow certain brackets. So yeah, a little bit on the fence about whether we should cast it live or not, and what we should do with GSL. We'll see, especially because we kind of want to take it easy a little bit coming into April. Like, it's been a very intense couple of months for us, with a lot of tournaments, with a lot of casting. But at the same time, the reality is that if we don't cover the GSL qualifiers, no one does. Like, we've been covering GSL qualifiers for like the past 5 years, and it's quite rare for other people to cover them. So yeah, if we don't cast it, then it just doesn't get casted typically. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the GSL qualifiers. But again, that's going to be next week as well. It's also going to be next week. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it, and we're going to be heading off for the time being. Again, I won't be casting later on tonight. I admin the amateur tournaments. That should be Kuro and Steel Mode casting instead. That'll be later on this evening. That'll be in around 5 hours. Oh, not much time. I gotta get some sleep, Pappy. Gotta get some sleep. But thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Ciao, Pappy, ciao. That's how I go. Also, very quickly, if you want to support us, you can do so via our own Patreon. We have our own Patreon as well. You can follow us on YouTube. We do upload to YouTube on a daily basis. Just catching up. Yes, this is live. Someone was asking if this was live. Yes, it was live. If we ever have a replay cast, it is in the title. It's in the title if we ever have a replay cast. But otherwise, we're going to be wrapping up here for the time being, and we'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys later on tonight or tomorrow for some more StarCraft. Until then, I'm going to go try to get some sleep. I'm gonna get some food, get some sleep, and try to rest up for tonight. I'll try to rest up. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Until next time, ciao, bye, ciao. Hasta luego. See you next time.